Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be performing the Powerclean. So the Powerclean is a really important strength exercise. It's different to the deadlift, different to the press that we've covered so far, in that, as the name suggests, power is very much fundamental to the movement. And power is simply the ability to produce force quickly. And that's imperative, whether you're an athlete or just living everyday life. The ability to produce power, to produce force, strength quickly, means we're fast, we're reactive. We can save ourselves from a stumble that would otherwise result in a fall, which would otherwise result in, for some people, fairly catastrophic consequences. So power, whether you're an athlete or simply looking to take the fight to the aging process head on, is absolutely imperative. Right, let's take a deep dive into it. So let me show you what power looks like. So if I take a 10 kilogram dumbbell to do a press, so I can press it like so, and I can press it like so. So strength with the application of speed is power. The more powerful we are, the better we can function, the more responsive and reactive we are. And that's really important as we journey through the aging process, because one of the many wonderful things that the aging process does is it starts to deprive us of the ability to be powerful, but we can do something about it. We can reverse it so long as we're doing exercises that has a power element to it, such as the Powerclean. So to teach the Powerclean, we're going to start from the top and work our way down. So to begin with, we're going to take a grip slightly wider than the deadlift grip. So with an empty bar to begin with, we're simply going to jump. We're getting airborne. So although we won't be getting airborne when we perform the Powerclean in full, we're using the jump element to teach the Powerclean. So we're literally going to slide the bar down the thigh, about halfway down, and then we're simply jumping. So the reason we start with this is that's where the power comes from. If we didn't attempt to jump with the Powerclean, we're not using the legs. It's then an arm exercise. And the power doesn't come from the arms. The Powerclean is a leg exercise. But a lot of people will get the Powerclean wrong. They will be trying to lift the bar with the arms, but that's incorrect. The bar travels from the application of power from the legs. So we're simply going to stand nice and tall. We're sliding the bar down the thighs, about halfway down, and then we're jumping. And as I jump, as you'll see, the bar travels. That's where the speed comes from. So we need to create some momentum in the bar, and that comes from the legs. So that's part one. So part two now. So we now need to get the bar up at our shoulders into what's called the rack position. And without the jump element, it won't happen, especially once this weight starts to get heavy. So we're familiar with sliding the bar down to the thighs, to our jumping point, and we're still jumping with straight arms. And then once we're at the top of the jump and we're starting to come down, that's when we're quickly rotating the arms. So we're going to be doing that. So we're not doing a shrug. So some people will do a Powerclean and they'll be, we're not going to do an upright row. So some people, they'll do this, okay? We're quickly snatching the bar by raising the elbows forwards. So we're going to slide down, jump, and we're presenting the elbows forwards. So we're not doing an upright row. We're not doing chicken wings. The elbows are traveling forwards. So that's step 2, into the rack position. I should have added actually, so step 2, that's a hang clean, which is an exercise in its own right. So a hang clean, we're sliding down. But once you're doing hang clean as an exercise in its own right, you'll be adding some weight to the bar typically. When you're attempting to jump, you won't be getting airborne. So at the minute, I can get airborne with a hang clean because this is a relatively light weight. If you're doing a hang clean as an exercise in its own right with more weight, you won't be getting airborne. Your heels will be getting off the floor, but your toes will be typically still on the floor. So the next part is simply a progression from step 2. So we're now working our way down towards the floor, which is ultimately where the power clean starts. So now we're going to slowly slide down just below the knees to then start to come up. And once we hit our jumping point on the thighs, we're then performing a hang clean in essence. So we're getting lower now. So we're starting here just below the knees at the tibial tuberosities, and we're coming up. And then we're jumping. So we're jumping with straight arms, and then at the top, we're snapping the elbows forwards. So slowly up, finding that jump point, elbows forwards. So that's step 3. So step 4 now. So we're now getting very close to the actual full movement. So obviously I've now got some plates on the bar. We're still learning the technique though, so we're still keeping it light so that once we actually get to a full-blooded heavy lift, you already know what the process is. So step 4, although we've got the bar loaded, we're still keeping it at a training weight, a learning weight. So we're now coming back to the deadlift from video 1. So in essence, we're taking a deadlift stance, a deadlift address with a slightly wider grip. So I'm slowly going to pull the bar up. Once it hits the jumping point, jumping straight arms and then snatching those elbows through at the very top of the movement. So all of that movement there of the bar travelling up is coming from the legs. The power is coming from the legs. The arms are simply coming under to then support that bar on the shoulders. So slightly wider than deadlift grip. Slowly up. Once I've found that jump, there we go. Slowly up, find the jumping point. So that bar is travelling from the power of me attempting to jump. So the power clean is a jump. So step 5, the only thing that's left now is a full-blooded attack. And you don't have to be rushed step 5. Take as many sessions, as many repetitions as you need at step 4, once you're comfortable with the various steps leading up to it, to be able to execute with good technique before you then start going heavier. So let me try and show you what it's going to hopefully look like. And I'm not saying that my example is perfect by any means. I've got a very stiff, broken 48-year-old body still trying to do these things. So I'm not saying that this is how it's going to look tip-top, but I'll do my best. So deadlift address, slightly wider. So because I'm going heavy now, I'm really thinking it's a jump. I'm not using my arms. I'm lifting this bar up with the power from my legs. So I'm reminding myself, jump. Even though I won't be getting off the floor, now I've got a heavier weight. So 1, 2. Now, you won't do it too many times until you realise it's not a good idea. when you bash that barbell against your knee typically doesn't like it. So take note, don't bash the bar into your knee. So I'm trying my very best to jump. Obviously that 70 kilos is pushing me down. I'm not going to be getting off the floor, but I'm attempting to. And that's the take-home message. Once you're getting heavier, you're still trying to jump. So that's the Powerclean. It's a great exercise because it gets you focusing on those fast twitch fibers, and you'll benefit hugely from it. So hope you enjoyed that. Next time I'll be bringing you another video in the Introduction to Barbell Strength Training series. I'm going to get my breath back now. Take care. So just for a bit of fun, I've regathered my breath. Let me show you what trying to do a power clean without attempting to jump is going to look like. And there's not going to be much movement, I'll tell you that. So if I'm trying to power clean with my arms as opposed to my legs, it's going to look quite different. So I'm not going to attempt to jump. So that's the difference the legs make. So attempting to jump is getting that bar traveling, which then means you can bring your elbows through. If you're not using your legs, that's what's going to happen. So if you are already power cleaning and it's just not quite happening, it could be that you're not actually jumping. Okay, so get those legs involved. Try and jump.